welcome to Black Tea. My name is Michelle Lawrence. I will be your host, and I am really excited to bring you guys this series all about Black women in advertising. And I am so pleased to be here today with our guest, Jasmine Reyes. What's up, Jasmine?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Tell the people what you do and where you're based.
Yeah, so I'm an assistant producer over at Arnold Worldwide over in Boston.
Okay, cool. I spent some time in Boston. I did 3 years in the
Okay.
Boston ad scene over there. So that's cool. How did you find advertising?
I kind of fell into it. I had previously gotten laid off from a different job that I hated, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise. And I knew I wanted to work with creative people, but also still utilize my very type A personality and like kind of keep things organized.
Hmm.
And Arnold had a job opening that they posted in my college's alumni job board because I went to school literally down the street from the office.
Oh, cool.
And my best friend no longer works at Arnold as of recently, but she was working at Arnold at the time. So I was just like, you like working there? I need a job. This seems cool. Let me just try it out. And it's been 2 years. So,
That's what's up. 2 years later.
yeah.
Thinking that you might stick with advertising? Are you like, how's it going so far for you?
I don't know. The hardest part about advertising is obviously just like working with clients. And I don't know, like I feel like there's like too many people who have like stakeholder opinions and like making things, and I would love to work somewhere where that's a little bit more simplified.
Mhm.
So I don't know if advertising in particular is my end game. My true end game is starting my own production company.
Oh, nice.
Um, and getting more into like film and TV kind of production. But as of right now, I'm learning a lot of things. I'm meeting a lot of really dope people. So as of right now, I don't see myself leaving advertising in the next couple of years. I think I still have a lot to learn. I have a lot of connections that I've made that have been really helpful. So we'll see.
Mhm.
We'll see how I feel in a couple of years.
That's a good place to be. I totally am down with the mindset of having goals, but not feeling like you have to find a dream job or a dream career. There's no finish line to life, you know what I mean, until there is.
Right.
So I feel like it's all a part of that journey. Like, you don't have to land on something and be like, this is it for me now. Advertising is also my second career. So I totally get that. And, we'll see how it goes. And I say that as someone who's 7 years in. We'll see. While we're on the topic of advertising, how do you feel that your unique POV as a Black woman has influenced the way that you show up for the work, especially in a predominantly white industry?
Yeah. I feel like in a weird way uniquely blessed that I am a Black woman in advertising, especially in production, because we have a lot more power as in terms of like hiring our directors and finding our vendors and things. And I have a little bit more power in finding people of color and women and, not just cisgender white men, cis het white men in particular. So it's a lot easier for me to kind of like find different people and try to diversify our process. It's still sometimes difficult because obviously, schedules happen and maybe like all the super dope diverse people that I find just can't work on the project for whatever reason. And unfortunately, sometimes it ends up being that we stick with what we know or that only the, non-diverse people are available. But I like the fact that I'm in a really good position to find diversity in our vendors and who we're hiring in the actual process of making ads.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just gives me that unique perspective and just showing like my fellow producers like this is why it's important, because then you see how dope the work is when you do bring in more diversity, and then they're like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. The work that you've been making has been super dope. Like maybe we should also work on doing that ourselves, or at least push a little bit harder in finding these people so that creatives kind of don't really have a choice, and that their only options are these super awesome diverse options.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know what? Because when things go right and when things go wrong with ads, especially ads that want to touch on meaningful topics or go places, if you will, people always look at the agency and they get the blame or the praise, but also the director has a touch to that, the DP has a touch to that. And, being able to, the costuming, the wardrobe, all of that is a huge part of it. So that's awesome. You really are increasing representation.
I really love what Ava DuVernay is doing with Array Crew, because that kind of puts a little bit more of the onus on the production companies and the vendors to make sure that their crews that they're hiring are also diverse.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're only hiring like the director and the production company. We're not hiring like the PAs and the grips and the cinematographer and like all that other stuff. So I appreciate that, like, Ava, even though technically it's the film industry, it does affect the commercial industry because all of them are still working on ads when they're not making big old movies. So I appreciate that, like, there is a lot more from the industry of diversifying the crew, so that way we can find diverse production companies and also feel confident that they're finding diverse people behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny. This is the second conversation I've had on Black Tea where Ava DuVernay comes up. So shout out to Ava DuVernay. We're all obsessed with you. If by some chance you watch this, it'll make my life. So what is one of your career dreams or ambitions that you have not yet realized? You mentioned you wanted to start your own production company. Anything else short of that?
I want to work on a Marvel movie at some point because I love them. I just think they're amazing. I would love to work on anything to do with Riri Williams, the Black woman who is Iron Man. Sorry, my little inner nerd is coming out. Would love to work on that. And then
I don't understand, but someone watching will. So let's go.
Yeah, and then I would love my last boss before I start my company to be Beyonce. I want my last boss to be Beyonce, and then I will never have a boss again. It will just be me. I would love that.
Yeah.
I want to work for Parkwood. So Parkwood, if you want to hire me, we can talk. Like,
I love how our dream is that Parkwood and Ava DuVernay, they're watching this. They're recruiting.
Well, they make such dope work, especially Parkwood, especially after seeing Black is King and like knowing how much they collab with Black creators.
Yes,
and how deeply that has been part of Beyonce and Parkwood's like ambition in general. Like, they very much go out of their way to find Black creatives. And I get so mad too when people say they can't find Black people in creatives. I'm like, if Beyonce can find an entire synchronized swimming team full of Black people, you can find a Black copywriter, you can find a Black producer, you can find a Black art director. There's way more of them than there are Black synchronized swimmers. And Beyonce found like a fleet of them. So
yeah, people keep looking in the same spot and then act surprised if they find the same type of people.
Right.
So I like to ask the question of how people find advertising or found it, because it doesn't find us. It doesn't find us. And so, if people are looking at the typical schools and the typical companies, and for you to already have certain experience, then it's like you're going to miss out on all this dope talent that is, ready to enrich your agency, your company, your brand. So
exactly.
Open your eyes, people. Okay, so what is your biggest hope for the future of advertising?
My biggest hope is that we don't need DEI people and we can just exist. I would love it if there was just diversity in general and that was the rule and not the exception, and that people come to work respectful of their coworkers, respectful of their differences, appreciative of their differences, and recognizing that being different people will make the work better, and we can just live. Like, I just want to go to work and like not have to worry about like, how do we bring more Black people to the agency, or how do we add more Black people into like our work? Like, just, I wish it was just standard so I can just show up to work and do my job and then go home and not think about my job anymore. And I want that for everybody. I want people to just be able to show up to work and not worry about being the only Black person or disabled person or queer person or other person in a room.
Girl.
It'd be lovely.
And Boston is something else too.
Boston's interesting.
I definitely remember the experience of just sticking out like a sore thumb everywhere. all the time.
And like that's the saddest thing about Boston is like we have a lot of minorities in Boston. It's a minority majority city, but it's so segregated. So segregated.
Thank you. Yes.
People are not as willing to go into the segregated parts of the community to find these diverse, super dope, creative people. Like, you don't have to go to like an ad school to learn how to write and learn how to like art direct and like do graphic design and like make things beautiful. Like creativity exists literally everywhere. And we need to go into the different neighborhoods that might be scary to you because you're the only white person there, or you're the only whatever person there. But like, it's not scary. It's fine. People just want to live their lives.
Yeah, people are just working.
Yeah,
going home. Like it's really not. But it's, you know,
friends on the street.
Yeah, it's hella annoying that we have to tell people that like, hey, we're people, but we are still there. So what are there any Black owned or just Black AF products that you're loving right
now? Well, my best friend who I mentioned before got me this dope Black excellence necklace. I just love going through Ethel's Club and like looking through all the different like Black curated things that they sell. And I love the concept of Ethel's Club. And shout out to Naj for creating that space, and also eventually Somewhere Good. I'm very excited for whenever that drops.
I'm gonna go check that out after this. So we've talked a little bit about, you know, some of the challenges and also opportunities of being a Black woman in the advertising space, but I also just want you to have the opportunity to brag on your own dopeness. So I would like to ask you, what is a career goal that you've already set and achieved?
I've already run a couple of advertising awards, and I was just like, I want to win at least like something, and it's only been 2 years, and I've already won a couple of things. So, but yeah, I got a one show merit for the first ever radio ad that I ever made by myself.
Oh my God.
Wasn't even supposed to make it by myself. My executive producer was supposed to mostly work on it, and then he got pulled into something else, and he's just like, you're gonna do this, it's gonna be fine, I will tell you everything you need to do, but just you will be fine. So yeah, first thing I ever worked on by myself, got an award at the one show. I also had to fight for that because my name got left off a bit, and I was like, I'm the one who made that. Like, I know he's the executive producer, but like I made that. So I complained. I think Cindy Gallup like saw it and like retweeted it and like helped me like get my recognition. So shout out to Cindy. Thank you,
shout out to Cindy. She is such a gift. And shout out to you for knowing like, okay, you know what, I'm speaking up. This is my thing. You know, I'm not going to quietly let this be taken away. So that's
so they like reached out to my agency. They're like, just want to like double check to be sure that like this isn't like some rando saying that it's hers. And they're like, yeah, no, that was our mistake. She worked on that. Our bad. So I won that, and then I also won Radio Mercury Award, which are apparently really hard to get because they only give out like one award per like category as opposed to like gold, silver, bronze, like all the other award shows. So I was also just like, and we made that during quarantine, so that was also a fun little
nice recent one. That's
first thing made during quarantine, and it won an award. So
I love it. At this pace, you're gonna win one every year. It's like an award per year. I love it.
I'm hoping that we won something for the Hatch Awards coming up soon. Fingers crossed I won something there. But you know, I'm just making cool shit.
I love
sorry, am I allowed to curse? Is that allowed? Have I just been cursing?
I mean, we're gonna find out. I don't know. There may or may not be some bleeping. Muse by Cleo.
Sorry, Cleo.
Let me know. You let me know.
Sorry, Muse by Cleo.
I really just want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Your story is super interesting. I love your perspective on advertising, and your confidence is just so inspiring. Can't wait to see what happens with your career, no matter which path it goes down. I think, you know, you're a force to watch. So everyone, Jasmine Reyes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm super blessed to be here. I love talking about Black shit and Black people and just hyping us up.
Love it. Thanks. Thanks so much for watching Black Tea. Head over to musebycleo.com/blacktea to catch more conversation.